The thing that's dangerous is when you naively go to a school that you think is Christian, and then your child comes out not believing the things they went in believing, that Genesis 1 through 11 is true, and there were two people, Adam and Eve, and God created in 6 days of creation, as the scripture says.
I'm Robert Thornton.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
The mission of American Family Association is to inform, equip, and activate individuals to strengthen the moral foundations of American culture and give aid to the church here and abroad in its task of fulfilling the Great Commission. Further, AFA believes this ministry, as well as everything in the heavens and on the earth, belongs to God, and AFA's role is that of a trusted manager.
Thank you for standing with the American Family Association.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues here on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Thursday, April the 30th, 2026. A lot to talk about today, and it's a good thing because it's a talk show. Fred Jackson, good morning, Brother Fred.
Good morning, Tim.
Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
And Ray Pritchard. How you doing, Brother Ray?
Hey, we're rocking and rolling here in Kansas. How are you doing, Tim?
Everything's good. You know, we had, in many parts of the southeast the last couple of days, have had much-needed rain.
Yeah.
We had, here in Tupelo, 3.5 inches, or between 3.5 and 4 inches over like a 10-hour period, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
That's
wow.
That's almost like hurricane.
Yeah.
Downfall, and we needed it. And I know many people I know they need it down in Georgia, especially southern Georgia and North Florida, where the fires have been. What about you guys? How you doing on rainfall? Because there's a drought.
Well, look, we could use some.
Okay.
I was reading that article the other day that said so much of the nation is suffering either in literal drought or what they call drought-like conditions.
Yeah.
So we need rain, folks.
Yeah. I know. It seems odd to say.
Yep.
Because, you know, especially the southeastern part of the United States is the wettest typically by now.
Yep.
But, yeah.
We had a very dry late winter, early spring. So the rain that we had, much welcome. It really is.
Absolutely. I went out to the yard, you know, after this rain, like 12 hours after the rain, it had already soaked in. That's how dry it was.
Yes.
Where we live here in northeast Mississippi. All right, Dr. Frank Turek will be with us at the bottom of the hour. We look forward to visiting with Frank. He's traveling the country on college campuses, sharing the I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist tour continues, and we'll be talking to Dr. Frank about where he is next and what's going on. Ray, give us a good word from the Bible before we jump into the news here.
Okay, Tim, I was walking my dog about 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Just for the radio. Had to take her for the...
What kind of dog you got now?
A 5-year-old Aussie Doodle.
Okay.
Combination Australian Shepherd and Poodle. We got her 5 years ago.
I remember.
She's a pandemic puppy. We were back when we were all sheltering in place.
Yeah.
Marlene and I were lonely. The grandkids were far away. And so we got Sadie when she was just maybe, 12 weeks old or something. And because she's an Australian Shepherd, she wakes up every day as if she just had 2 cans of Red Bull. I mean,
that's a good way to describe it.
I mean that's just the way it is. Okay, so I was thinking about this. Here's a verse from the Bible to meditate on, Tim. This is the words of Jesus, one of the shortest verses in the New Testament. Jesus said in Luke 17:32, "Remember Lot's wife." Remember Lot's wife. Tim, when you think about Lot's wife, what comes to mind?
Well, yeah, she kind of
She didn't obey.
She was stopped in her footsteps abruptly.
And why did she get in trouble?
Well,
She
that story's from the Old Testament, right?
That's right.
And Lot was the brother of
nephew of Abraham.
nephew of Abraham.
Nephew of
Excuse me,
Abraham.
not brother.
It is referred as a brother in some parts, but they mean like familial.
So I didn't remember that. Okay, I did remember. I did not remember that incorrectly. But anyway, point is they're leaving Sodom,
Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
which is
And
being destroyed.
the sulfur is coming down out of heaven.
Yeah. God told them to leave, and they're leaving. They're leaving to get away because the city of Sodom is going to be destroyed, and it was being destroyed. And God told them, "Don't look back." And she looked back, and when she looked back, she turned to a pillar of salt. So that's the story. Do I have that right?
Oh, you got it 100% right.
Okay. What? Okay. Go ahead.
Don't look back. Now, our puppy, 5-year-old puppy, Sadie, greatest dog in the world, but she's got so much energy. She looks back constantly, especially if she sees another dog, right? There's just something in her. She's got to stop and let that other dog know what she thinks. And especially what bothers Sadie is these little ankle biters. I don't know why it is, 'cause Sadie's 35 pounds, but she sees one of these little tiny dogs and she just goes nuts. And when I'm walking her, I'm constantly saying to her, Sadie, don't look back. Don't look back.
Right.
There's nothing back there,
Right.
Sadie. Don't look back. We'll all just get in trouble if you keep looking back. And you know, that I think is what Jesus wanted us to think about. Don't look back. There's nothing for us back there. Years ago, the Lord gave me what I call the first rule of the spiritual life. It's 3 simple statements. You can't go back. You can't stay here. You must go forward. I can't go back to relive the past or change the past. I can't stay here because life is like a river that flows ever onward. But what I can do is say, by the grace of God and in the strength and with the power of the Holy Spirit, I will go forward with the Lord. So here's a good word for today for all of us, friends. Don't look back. Remember Lot's wife. Don't let that happen to you. Don't look back. Just keep going forward with the Lord.
Amen.
What a great devotion.
Hey, preach it, brother.
That is excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Ray-
I thought of it while I was walking Sadie 20 minutes
Ray
ago.
is that guy that you pray is when you go to like there's a conference and there's like several people preaching or speaking or whatever, and it just kind of goes on, and that third or fourth guy gets up, you're like, that's the message that you want to hear when it's the final guy right there. The mic drop 2 minutes.
I have been that third or fourth guy. I know what that's like.
Or right after lunch speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Chris,
Been there, done that.
You afraid got dogs? Or
What now?
y'all have dogs?
Oh no, so I had one. I had an ankle biter many years ago. Milo, may he rest in peace.
No. We have cats,
Yeah, cat.
which keep arriving at our door. And my wife and daughter just don't have the heart to turn them away.
We had that happen to us. I probably shouldn't tell this. I'm gonna tell it anyway. I guess.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is 20 years ago where we live, so it's a long time ago, and that lady moved way away, and I don't even know if she's still alive today.
Uh-huh.
But we had a neighbor
Mm-hmm.
that had I don't know what you call a group of 15 or 20 cats.
A herd.
A convention. I call it a
I'm
convention.
going to look it up.
Convention of cats. And they would come over to our house at night and just get up on all our outdoor furniture. Why are you laughing, Fred? This wasn't funny.
These are cats. These are cats. I know cats.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Chris, do you get the answer to the question there?
Okay. This is one answer to what do you call a group of cats, and I'm not making it up. It's called a meowtan, which is a play on meow and mountain.
You're just making up
That's
that
what the
word.
internet says.
Meow. Well, anyway, we had a meow tan of cats, and we asked her, once or twice, hey, it's an awkward conversation, but can you keep, cats are coming over, they're just camping out on our outdoor furniture, and it's making a mess, and they're digging in our plants so I mean, you don't want to create a tension between your neighbor, but at the same time, you don't want your every night this to be happening. So anyway, it didn't stop. And there are these little things you can catch animals in. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I caught a few of them over the course of a month or so, and I gave them a new home. So, and I did not hurt them. I did not harm them.
Uh-huh.
But if she wasn't going to take care of this, what'd you call it, Chris?
Meow Tan.
Meow Tan, and they were all going to just decide to go over to the Wildmon Lounge every night and hang out, then you know what? I was going to give them another lounge. So, and I did. Again, I didn't harm the animals.
No.
I just took them
Right.
to a new frontier. Is that so? Is anything wrong with that? No, I'm asking you. Is there
Go back to
anything?
Genesis.
Ray, is there anything wrong with what I did? Did I need to repent of anything? Huh?
Well, Fred,
Y'all aren't going to answer it, are you?
We're somewhat undecided about this.
No, you didn't.
Fred, give us a ruling. You're a cat.
Well,
man.
Fred's a cat. Well, he likes cats. I don't have anything against cats.
No, I don't.
But they have if they're my neighbor's cats, they're not mine.
They're not yours.
I know.
And if it keeps on and on and on,
you know,
you
Tim,
don't have a
You'll
choice.
have a meow tan.
Tim, I think this is one of those stories like Ed has his rabbit story.
Yeah, probably better left untold.
Yeah.
I agree. I should. I about pulled it.
But it was a long time ago.
Anyway,
Yeah. Our producer is keeping track of stories.
No cats were harmed. Okay,
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You will.
But they quit hanging out on my back
I'll
patio.
bet they did.
The fall Sherathon gift will not be a PETA bracelet.
And the lady, she didn't ever ask, hey, you seen cat number 16 because
Yeah.
he's missing.
And you responded, not anymore.
I don't think she ever knew it. Anyway, she moved away. The lady moved away, and I was thankful I didn't ever have to get into that. It would have tested my spirit of honesty.
There you go.
All right, here we go. You're listening to Today's Issues. What do you got for us, Chris?
Well, if anybody listening to this show needs some gasoline, maybe your vehicle's on quarter tank,
All right,
something
great.
like that.
It got us off to a good mood here,
Yeah.
Chris.
I would suggest that you go ahead and fill up your tank now. And I say that because Brent crude today surged over $120 a barrel amid these Iran war worries. The good news is it has since come down a little bit. It's now currently trading for $106. But this is going to have an impact on gas prices because we all know that if something happens anywhere in the world with an oil supplier or involving oil supplies, everybody jacks the price up. So if you need some gas, I would go get it. The current national average is $4.30, which is up 31 cents from this time last month and well more than $1 than this time last year.
Fred?
Well, I tell you, if there's anything that's going to prompt an end to this sooner than later, it's the American public getting very, very irritated with gas prices.
The end of what?
The end
War?
of the Iran war.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in an election year.
Okay.
And folks, even folks who are big fans of our president
Right.
and are big fans
Right.
of, going after these
Right.
nasty Islamic regime in Iran.
Right.
But if this keeps happening, when I came into work this morning, Rusty Pugh on our 6 o'clock newscast, the Brent crude was at a 126 per barrel. Now, if it keeps going, that's almost a record. If we keep having these jumps, the American people, and they start seeing at the pump. This morning when on my way into work, one of the cheaper spots in town had regular at $3.79, and
Wow.
and we're better than a lot of places in the country.
Wow.
So it keeps climbing, and diesel. I don't know if you have diesel.
God bless you if you drive a diesel vehicle.
Yes.
The average for diesel today, right now, is $5.49.
Yeah.
A year ago, it was $3.56.
And I think behind closed doors, when the president is speaking with his people about this, you have to know that gas prices are high on the agenda. And they're saying, Mr. President, we have to have a solution, whatever that solution is, to ending this war in Iran.
Ray, what are the gas prices in Kansas City?
Oh, I think here in Kansas City, they're pretty close to what they are in Tupelo. But over the weekend, I was up in Chicago, and they were way over $4. Way over $4. Not $5, but inching up in that direction.
You get over $4, you start feeling it. The average person starts feeling it now. I will say this, as Chris has noted, we're about to get into summer vacation traveling season, and so that's gonna increase the demand.
Yes.
And so I'm like you, Fred. I think the president and his team are looking at this, and certainly the Republicans are, because they're going to be blamed for it by the general public if it continues. I think people are willing to put up with this for, I don't know, a month or two in the name of trying to defeat the Iranian regime that threatens the world with nuclear weapons potentially. But at the same time, you can't cut into the average person's budget by increasing gas $200 or $300 a month.
No.
For some people, I'm talking about, maybe not up for everybody, but a couple $100 a month anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see what happens. But so this is all directly related to the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Oil not being able to be delivered through there.
Yes.
And it's basically somewhat bottlenecking the oil industry. Is that right?
No,
absolutely. It's mostly the result of that. This is the time of year when you're switching over from one seasonal blend to the other, which is something the government's done for a long time for environmental purposes.
Seasonal blend.
Yeah, there's
like
different blends. There's different blends of gasoline. Like in the winter,
okay.
The federal government doesn't require certain stuff to be added to gas during the winter, which is why gas tends to be cheaper around Christmas than it is around, let's say, 4th of July.
Yeah.
So that is one little factor. Demand has also picked up because people are going on spring break or whatnot. But it's mostly the result of the war in Iran and people that are what's called speculating. The people doing things, manipulating the markets to try to make a buck.
I know what you don't think about too. What a lot of people don't think about is the trickle down, because that's where probably it hits people more than. So you say, well, yeah, okay, I'm paying $1 more at the pump. Okay, well, that's not all. You're paying more for everything else because the trucks that deliver all those products have to. They can't eat that, so they're going to pass it on to the consumer, and then the consumer is the same person paying to fill their car up at the pump. So it's a as I say. And you said, Fred, I think it behooves, and I know President Trump and his team know this, but they need to solve this problem soon, and that at least by Memorial Day, seems to me, or it's going to carry. It's going to when people get things fixed in their head, and they're not going to be moved from it, no matter if the facts on the ground change because they've already been programmed. Well, that's going to happen with this if it doesn't change. I would say by Memorial Day, but I'm just pulling that.
They've got to come up. They've got to. When I say the Trump administration, they have to come up with a scenario that gives them a win.
Yeah.
Now, what does that look like? Our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he's before another hearing today. Yesterday, he was before the House. I think Armed Services today. He's before the Senate.
Worked up too. He's mad.
He's pumped, and he's very good in that environment.
Yeah.
But he mentioned yesterday, we've spent already in the last 2 months of this war. We're 2 months into it. $25 billion. $25 billion.
Wow.
And our military wants a budget for next year of $1.5 trillion, I think it is.
That is the plan from the administration,
yeah. $1.5 trillion. That's what they want for a budget.
Whew. Now, Congress will have a say over that. But
of course. Yeah. But so you add all of this in, and the American public starts getting very concerned, as you've been talking about. groceries bills go up because of all of this.
Right.
So I think sooner than later they've got to come up with, all right, we have put Iran back in its shoes for 10, 15 years. And we consider that the win. We're starting to fold up our tents and come home.
They need an off-ramp.
They do.
They need an off-ramp.
Yeah, they need to get there. And it's not helping right now. I think overnight, the new Ayatollah there saying, basically, that we're winning this. And then you had the German chancellor yesterday publicly saying that the United States is being humiliated by the Iranians. So you got the mainstream media that doesn't like Trump. They're feeding all of this stuff out there. So they've got to meet, the Trump administration's got to meet and say, we've got to find an off-ramp.
So in response to the Ayatollah, the President Trump put out a meme last night. Did you see this?
Yeah, I can post it for you.
He put out a meme with him as, what would you call that, Chris?
I mean, he looks like something out of like a Stallone movie from the 80s, maybe Commando, Rambo, Terminator.
Maybe, or Terminator or something like that. He's got it's a meme. President Trump put this out. A meme is a made-up picture, and it's got him like he's carrying a big gun, and what does it say? No more Mr. Nice Guy?
No more Mr. Nice Guy. And he's holding what the left fondly refers to as an assault rifle, while stuff behind him explodes.
So anyway, that's President Trump saying that says to me he's saying I'm fixing to attack you by fixing. Let me define that for people who don't know what I'm saying. I'm about to attack you. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Of course, he said that before and done nothing militarily.
Yeah.
So I don't know. With President Trump now, he just I wonder if he's in a I don't know what to do moment.
Boy,
I don't know what to, or maybe better phrase this way. I'm not sure what to do next moment. Maybe something like that. Not I don't know what to do, but I'm not sure what to do next.
Well, he wants to do well in the midterm elections.
Right.
Okay. So how do we get there?
But this blockade is that's what he's counting on. Is this blockade squeezing Iran to make changes, and how long do you go on with that, and how long does that not? What if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if we're sitting here a month from now going, this isn't working?
And we have to remember this blockade is stopping oil and gas coming out of Iranian ports.
Yeah.
But that still puts pressure on world oil prices.
Yeah.
Because it's a global commodity.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Let's go ahead and take our break a little early here. And Chris has got you got a bunch of good news, don't you, Chris, coming our way?
I am, they call me Sunshine and Rainbows.
Yeah, they do.
In the newsroom. among many other things.
All right, so we'll be back with more news. Dr. Frank Turek will be with us, too. And the King of England and the Queen are at Arlington National Cemetery this morning in Washington, D.C. Well, actually, Arlington National Cemetery is in Virginia.
It is.
Yep.
But they're visiting our nation's capital again.
They're wrapping things up today.
Wrapping things up before they fly home?
Yep.
How old is he, by the way?
77? In that ballpark?
77.
A few years behind the president.
All right, we'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
One day many years ago, several members of a college math class were called to the board to work a problem. One young man went up to begin work on the problem only to make a mistake at the very beginning. Despite the fact that he worked the rest of the problem correctly, he came out with a wrong answer because he had made the mistake at the start. The professor walked to the front of the room after the students had sat down and began going over the problems that the students had worked on. When he came to the one in which the young man had made a mistake at the beginning, he turned to the class and asked a question. How many of you gentlemen are ministerial students? Well, a few hands went up. Gentlemen, he continued, here is a sermon for you. This young man forgot to square at the beginning of the problem, and while the rest of the problem is worked correctly all the way through, he came out with the wrong answer. Now here's the sermon. You leave something undone that you should do at the beginning of life, and the answer will come out wrong at the end of life. Then the professor picked up the eraser from the chalkboard and turned to face the class again. Gentlemen, he said, here is another sermon. He then proceeded to erase the entire problem from the answer working backward. When he came to the place where the mistake had been made, he erased that part, picked up the chalk, and wrote in the correct numbers. Then he turned to the young student and preached his second sermon. Try again, he said. You know, because of the Galilean, that's the way we can approach life. The simple sermon preached by that college professor has been experienced countless times since the carpenter first told his fishermen about the forgiveness of the Creator. It would be an impossible task to find the number of men and women who have come to the end of a problem in life only to find that they had the wrong answer. Then, with heads bowed and ashamed, they heard that grand master of men speak those two words, try again. Another chance, a new start, a clean blackboard. Isn't that one reason he came into our world like he did? To wipe the board clean when we forget to square. Many have experienced that sense of starting again. For them, it opened the doors that seemed shut forever. There are two tragedies involved here. One is that many refuse to admit that they made a mistake. They like to work the problem by their own rules. They accept no other criteria of judgment than their own. And of course, if you never make a mistake, you have no need to correct it. The second tragedy is that those who finally are willing to admit the error fail to let the supreme professor wipe the board clean, correct their error, and say to them, try again. The Father knew that humans so many times need another chance. That's one reason he sent his Son, so that we could, indeed, try again.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Do not worry about anything, but pray and ask God for everything you need, always giving thanks. And God's peace, which is so great, we cannot understand it, will keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4, 6, and 7.
American Family Radio. This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
All right, welcome back to Today's Issues on American Family Radio Network. Is Frank on? Dr. Frank Turek is on with us. He's a traveling man, and he's somewhere out there in the good old U.S. of A. Frank, how are you?
I'm great, sir. We're heading to the University of Tennessee tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Myself and Elisa Childers will be talking about evidence for Christianity. In fact, Elisa is going to talk about how she almost left the faith for progressive Christianity and why she didn't. And we're going to also take a lot of questions. So that's going to be tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. If anyone's near Knoxville, Tennessee, that's where we'll be. And if you're not near Knoxville, it will be live streamed on the Cross Examined YouTube channel.
I was going to ask UT Knoxville. UT has other branches across the volunteer state, but so UT Knoxville, the main campus. Where and what time?
It's going to be tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, right on campus. I don't have it in front of me now, but it's on our website, crossexamined.org. They can see where it is on campus, and it starts at 8 Eastern time. So we're looking forward to seeing a bunch of folks up there and answering a bunch of questions as well.
When you go to a college campus like that, do you have a host? I mean, a host ministry like Campus Crusade for Christ? Or not, they're not called that anymore.
That's the way it works. And if it's a public school like, University of Tennessee, they can't deny us if a group on campus that is an authorized group invites us. So in this case, it's a group called Ratio Christi, which means Reason for Christ. So they're more of a Christian apologetics, meaning evidence for the faith group. They meet every week, and they invited me. I've been there. This is my second or third time there at University of Tennessee. I think it's my third time there. They invite me, and they invite everybody on campus to come, so it's open to everyone, including people who are not students. Anyone can come to this event.
Hey, what's the number one – I've asked you this before, but I'm asking it a different way. What's the number one question you get from a adversary there, a non-believer, and they think maybe this is the first time you've ever heard it?
Yeah, well, the objections that we get, and this has been the case for at least the past, say, 8 or 9 years, the top 3 objections we get to Christianity, Tim, are morality, morality, and morality. In other words, it's all about, well, what about LGBTQ issues? Or what about slavery in the Bible, supposed slavery? Or why did God kill the Canaanites? Or, if there's a good God, why is there evil? Those questions are the ones that dominate now. 20 years ago, it was some of that, but they would push back more on the evidence for God. Now they're not asking as much, is Christianity true? They're asking, is Christianity good according to their definition of good? Now, of course, if there is no God, there is no objective definition to good.
Right.
Everything's just a matter of opinion. See, that's the problem. They think they can say, well, I think this is right. Well, if there's no standard beyond yourself that establishes it as right, it's just your opinion. So your objection to God actually vanishes because you have no standard by which to say God is evil or anything else is evil.
That's a very good point. Ray, you have any? You have a question for Brother?
Frank, I was just while you were talking, I was thinking back to my college days, back in the Neanderthal era, 50-some. Oh, man, this is a long time ago. I was a student for a year at the University of Missouri, and this young guy named Josh McDowell, who I did not know came through the University of Missouri. And they're
talking about Columbia?
Yeah.
The main
Columbia.
campus there? Okay.
Yeah. And it was sponsored by Campus Crusade. And I didn't who this was even before he wrote Evidence That Demands a Verdict, and he got up and gave this 60-minute talk. A lot of it was about the reality of the resurrection, and I remember him going into the stone and the size of the stone and the seal. And when he took questions, there were a lot of questions about could the resurrection really be true, and did it really happen? I guess what I'm hearing you say is that those kinds of questions have changed from the question of the reliability of the Bible and the truth of resurrection to morality, morality, morality. What has changed in the last half century from that kind of question to what you're dealing with now?
I think people are more concerned about themselves and how they live, and they would rather just live the way they want to live. That's why I always ask the question, if they're not a Christian, I'll ask them, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian? And many times, if they're honest, they'll say no. No, I don't care. I don't care if it's true. I want to do my own thing, essentially. You see, they're not really on a truth quest or on a happiness quest, and they're just going to believe whatever they think is going to make them happy. Here's the problem. You can make yourself happy over the short term, doing a lot of fun, but ultimately sinful and destructive things. Yet over the long term, it's a disaster. You just can't live that way very long and come out unscathed. If you just live for yourself and follow every impulse you have, you're going to wind up divorced, addicted, broken, alone, and probably prematurely dead. So I always ask them, if it were true, would you become a Christian? Because so much of the resistance to God is really what's keeping them out. They want to be God over their own lives. In other words, they're not interested in submitting to the truth. They only want to submit to what they want to do, and that is becoming more and more prevalent over the past couple of decades.
Is there a sense, Frank, in which they're saying something like this? Look, if it's Josh McDowell, look, I don't really care. I'm not interested in that resurrection stuff. I don't even care about that. I want to sleep with my girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. If they're honest, that's what they'll say. And look, it affects all of us. I mean, there are things that are inconvenient about Christianity. What you mean? I got to take up my cross and follow you? I got to deny myself? In fact, I've noticed that Jesus was not only not seeker-friendly, he was not even disciple-friendly. In John chapter 6, he drives off his disciples. Mm-hmm. You know, he says to them, "Does this offend you?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it does." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't like those principles, I'll have other principles that are more attractive to you." No, he didn't say that. He lets them go, and he says to Peter, "Are you going to leave too?" And Peter, in a rare moment of clarity, normally he stuck his foot in his mouth, but at this point he said, "Hey, no, we're not going to go anywhere, Lord. You have the keys to eternal life. Where else are we going to go?" So, yeah, it's tragic too, because many of our churches are so seeker-centered that they're not preaching the truth, and they're trying to coax people into a worldview that really isn't true. It's not all about you. It's not all about self-fulfillment. It's not all about you get to do what you want to do. It's all about surrendering your will to the Lord, and that's hard to do.
And that's what it is. That's what you just described is, am I going to be my own God, or is the Lord going to be the God? Is the Lord going to be God? Right. And that's the decision that people have to make when they're confronted with it. That's why Frank goes to these college campuses, to present the evidence and then to say, hey, who are you going to serve? The temptation always with our even us as believers, we understand is, okay, am I going to serve the flesh? Or am I going to serve the Lord? Mm-hmm. So that, I think that when you say morality, that is the objection that people have, just what you and Ray have described, and that is people do not want anyone telling them how they should behave, how they should live, how they should think, what they should do. They don't even want God telling them that.
That's right.
Really?
How often did we as kids say, "You're not the boss of me"?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Frank, we're gonna let you go, buddy. We know you're on the phone. You're traveling. You're going to Knoxville, UT Knoxville tonight. Tell us again. A lot of people may want to join you on the live stream on your website who can't physically be.
Right.
I know you do have the physical place you're going to be on your website, but you also have the live stream. Go ahead and give that again.
Yeah, the Cross-Examined YouTube channel, 2 words, Cross-Examined. It'll be 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central tonight from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. If anyone's near Knoxville and they want to attend, they can. If they go to our website, crossexamined.org, they'll see where it is. And we're taking questions, too. It'll be myself and Elisa Childers, who wrote the book Another Gospel. So she'll be with me, and we'll take questions.
All right, Frank. Safe travels. Take care. Talk to you next time.
Hey, God bless you guys. See you.
Okay, bye-bye. That's our friend, Dr. Frank Turek.
I cannot recommend enough his events. I went to his event at the University of Mississippi, also known as Ole Miss, a month or so ago, 6 weeks, whatever. And so, even if you have been a student of the Bible, you've listened to Exploring the Word, you're on a first-name basis with all kinds of people here, don't think, that's for other people to watch. I would highly recommend everybody watch Frank's event.
You can learn a lot.
I sure did. And that will help you engage with somebody like, in this case, the lady who almost, abandoned the faith. It'll help you in those kinds of moments.
I've been waiting to say this for a while. A few months ago, I was doing sermon research, which means, Fred, I was surfing the internet. And up on my phone popped this presentation from Wright State University. I really don't even know where that is.
Ohio.
Ohio? Okay, I didn't know that. And it was a live stream of Frank Turek doing what he's going to do tonight at UT Knoxville. Okay, I watched that. My jaw dropped. Because first of all, brilliant presentation. There are hundreds of students there. But then he did the most amazing thing. He said, you got any questions? Just line up. There were he didn't put any preconditions on it. He didn't say write it down or screen it. We'll take all comers. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And they asked some easy ones, and they asked some head scratchers, and they asked some trick questions, and Frank took them all and answered them all beautifully.
Yeah.
Then a few months later, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, he was at another place, some university down in Texas, and did the same thing. And the questions were even more personal and deep at that point. God has given Frank an amazing gift of speaking to this generation. Folks, that's my way of saying, if you can go, do it.
Right.
Chris said go to an event, but a lot of us can't. He live streams all of them.
Right.
And you can watch him doing his thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Frank Turek, and we just commend our brother and pray for him because, he's trying to witness for the Lord in a hostile environment oftentimes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And he's had occasion where, he saw one of his good friends, Charlie Kirk, assassinated right in front of 20 feet from where he was.
Yeah.
Frank was out there
Mhm.
in Utah when this happened. Most of our listeners know that. I say 20 feet. I don't know exactly how far, but he wasn't far away from the stage when this happened. He was in the car that took Charlie Kirk to the hospital, and sadly he died. But Frank went through all that on that day, and it had an effect on him.
Yeah,
obviously, as it would anybody. All right, you're listening to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. So you're telling me that King Charles and Queen
Camilla.
This is their last day.
This is their last day. They're going to board a plane very shortly. They'll head east, but they're going to make a stop over in Bermuda on the way home.
So they went to Washington, D.C., and then they went to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went back to the nation's capital, Arlington National Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. They're not going to see any more of, huh?
No.
They're not going to Knoxville.
No.
They should. Oh, Frank. They should go see Frank.
If they really want to see, I know New York and D.C. are, that's part of our country, but there's a whole lot more out there that I wish the King and Queen would experience. Maybe go to a barbecue joint in Memphis or something like that.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Go get some dry rub on some ribs.
That's why. I'd like to see the King of England with his hands greasy, wouldn't you?
Listen,
eating some barbecue ribs.
When it comes to royal protocol,
that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I want to see the King eating some ribs. Bring him to Kansas City. We got ribs.
Ribs go to Kansas City, Memphis, Kansas City.
You send him to Pittsburgh. He'll shake a terrible towel. Go Steelers. Maybe catch a Boston Bruins game with Ed. He could be our diplomat.
But he's going to Bermuda. Bermuda is the
British territory.
Okay, it's an island. Is it an island or islands?
Yeah, it's several hundred miles.
My brother lived there for a while.
Really?
Yeah, he was part of the royal family.
Okay.
And had a place there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
years ago,
my brother did live there for
Oh.
like a year or two.
Yeah. It's a little speck out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out. It's out. If you go, probably off. If you were to, I don't know exactly, but if you go off the Outer Banks of North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and you went straight, as it were, you're going to run into Bermuda in about probably 500 miles. I'm guessing something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
parked out there in the Gulf Stream. This is why it's kind of tropical.
It's tropical, even though it's, as I say, on plane probably with the central part of the continental United States.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, so they're stopping in Bermuda. I didn't realize it was a British
territory.
territory.
Yep.
Okay. What were you going to say, Chris?
Years ago, when we were across the street in the old studio, we had somebody on that was like the former ambassador to the Bahamas. and he had written a book. It was faith-based.
Yeah.
He was a great man of God.
And
But
you asked him, how can I get that job?
No. I remember it, and I still laugh about it because, he mentioned I'm the former ambassador to the Bahamas, and you said thank you for your service.
It must be tough.
One time I was at this is 25 years ago. We had a guy come through town, and he came to see us. He had a professional. He had a ministry like Campus Crusade or something like that to professional golfers and their families and caddies. That's what he did. He was kind of an ambassador or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to he was here, but I took him to my church, and it was a Wednesday night, and it had about 100, 200 people there. And I didn't know him that well, and I really didn't know how to describe exactly what he did. So I got up in front of everybody and said, I want to do this, whatever his name was, Jack's in town. He wanted to speak 5 minutes to tell you all what he does. And I said, so y'all welcome Jack. He has a golf ministry. And the whole place just bursted out laughing. Huh? And I was a little bit embarrassed because he was seriously trying to minister to these.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say golf ministry, it sounds like like beach ministry. I got a beach ministry.
Beach ministry.
I'm gonna hang out at the beach all. It doesn't sound legit, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I couldn't take it back, and everybody started. Maybe we never did talk, but golf ministry. He has a ministry to people in the golf profession. That would have been a better way to introduce him, right?
Yeah.
So you said Bermuda.
The Bahamas.
So you're ambassador to the Bahamas.
Yes, and actually, if anybody's curious, I Googled this. Herschel Walker is the current U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas.
You're not serious.
No, he was confirmed by the Senate and sworn in. I'm looking at the U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas website.
You can't make that up, Tim. That has to be true.
Yeah.
That has to be true.
Well, I bet our ambassador to Iran wish he had that job right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be the guy that, the ambassador to Ireland or something like that would be awesome.
Ambassador, just don't make me ambassador to some hostile country.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't even know if we have an ambassador to Iran. If we do, he ain't there no more.
No,
so to speak.
That's where a president sends people that maybe are challenging him or might run against him in a future. I'm going to send you to some kind of thing.
All right, you're listening to today's issue. What's your next story, Chris?
All right. Well, let's do a robots story here.
Okay. Time for a robot story.
It is time for a robot story. There has obviously been a substantial increase in the amount of artificial intelligence out there, and some countries, even Japan, are apparently now employing and deploying robots to work at airports to handle baggage.
I sent this story around. Did you see this?
Oh, yes. I'm going to post it for you.
Okay. Post it for our listeners?
Yes. It's very...
on our Facebook page?
Yeah. If anybody saw the I, Robot movie, and if you didn't, that's okay, but it was a Will Smith movie set far into the future and robots have taken over. It looks like one of those robots.
Yeah, so let me describe this.
Sure.
But you're going to put that video up on our Today's Issues Facebook
Doing it
page.
right now.
Okay. So I was reading this story last night, and a Japanese airline, maybe the major Japanese airline, I think, and they you know how you land at an airport and you look out the window and you see all the people running around putting luggage on planes, on the conveyor belts and trucks going around? Well, they had robots doing this job, and it was Fred, it was serious. They were really putting your luggage up on. Now they were doing like humans. They were slamming it on the ground.
Threatening to go on strike.
I'm just kidding. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? If I'm an airport worker, this may be the future. The robots may take over your jobs.
Yeah, I wonder what the union representing those workers is feeling about this.
I don't know, but did you?
Because the video shows them like pushing a container. You know, because now a lot of planes, they put the luggage in a big container and then they put that in the belly of the airplane.
Yeah, these are robots with arms and legs.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're designed. Ray, did you see this? They're designed like a human.
Wow.
Yes.
So
and then it waves. It waves goodbye.
I don't really know what to make of all this robotics and computer generated technology and AI. I know a lot of us don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to make about it fully, because when you have people like Elon Musk, whatever you think of Elon Musk, guy's very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we can all agree to that. Very smart. And he has an eye on the future, Ray, and he's talking about AI basically taking over the work of the world. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how many years from now, but within the next 10 to 20, he's saying so many jobs will be replaced by AI. So I don't know.
Pretty soon, talk show hosts are going to be replaced by. Tim, do you think you and I could be replaced by robots?
Oh my word! That would, huh?
Well, there's already
anything's possible.
I don't.
There are news agencies that are using AI as anchors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For newscasts and that sort of thing. So
yeah.
So we
there's
might
your future, Chris.
No, there's our future right there, guys.
We watched a video several years ago, maybe not long after Steve started here. Steve's been here 10 years. And but it was a YouTube news thing where they were already using a robot voice to like anchor the news. And it was funny because, you know, sometimes when you read an article, it'll say like Senator, this is back when Ben Sass was a senator. Senator Ben Sass parentheses are Nebraska, right? And so like the robot couldn't tell the difference, and it had Nebraska abbreviated. So it said Senator Ben Sass are Neb, and it kept going on. So they're not perfect.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Mike Rowe, people know him from the Dirty Jobs show.
Mike Rowe.
Yeah,
yes. R-O-W. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been a big advocate now for there are jobs that robots can't do.
Right.
So jobs that, you know, you have to get down there and clean the manholes and...
What's the name of it? Dirty Jobs, name of his show.
Dirty Jobs, that's one of the shows he does. He narrates some other shows as well. But he says there's a bunch of jobs out there, like there's, you know, welding jobs and those sorts of things that, you know, there's...
You got to go to the house and do it. Or you got to go to it.
Yeah.
Technical, what do you call those jobs? Where hands-on.
Hands-on jobs.
Hands-on jobs.
And he says that's where the future is.
Yeah.
So the robots won't take those jobs.
Well, you know, you read about people, the college degrees don't matter as much anymore as they used to, because people are figuring, why do I want to go $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt when I can go to a trade school?
Yep.
And get a degree and make a lot more money.
That's right. And that's his point.
Potentially make
That's his point.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to today's issue. We got about 2 or 3 minutes left, Chris. You got anything left in your stack of stuff over there?
I do.
Tell me what it is. I'll tell you yes or no.
Okay. Man,
Because I got more cat stories I can tell.
We might need a cat story.
Oh no.
We might need a cat story.
Make Ray and Fred nervous here.
Well, what about the story out of Ann Arbor, Michigan?
There
what
you
about
go.
it?
You go for it.
Ann Arbor, Michigan. They had signs up, you know, anti-crime watch signs, you know, you see around cities.
Yeah, neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
Well, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, there's a move to get rid of those signs because they're not inclusive enough.
What?
Get rid of the neighborhood watch signs? Why?
Why? Because it might be offensive to certain
criminals?
elements in the neighborhood who are committing crime.
Are you? You're not serious.
No.
I am dead serious. It's the Fox News story. Liberal city removes anti-crime signs to be more inclusive.
That's got to be a Babylon Bee headline.
No.
You can't make this
No.
up. Take down the neighborhood watch signs because it might offend the
We
criminals.
don't want to offend the bad guys.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, man, that's a very liberal city right there.
Guess what party they represent?
Oh, I know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're not conservatives, I'll tell you that. Right
no.
now. Good
No.
night. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Well, it's a college town.
Brother.
Typical of big university cities.
And a law school at that university, too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They can play basketball, but that's about it, I guess. They can't think clearly, obviously.
No, that's for sure.
All right. Well, they can play football, too, so I'll give them that. All right, we will return with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks to Chris for this hour of news, and Steve Paisley Jordahl will join us in 5 minutes.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Their investment is only for Donald Trump. It's not for the Republican Party. And I think this is another thing that we as conservatives have failed to do during the entire arc of the Trump era is actually take the Trump voters and convert them into genuine conservatives.
Start your weekdays with insight from Jenna Ellis in the morning, 7 o'clock Central Time on American Family Radio.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Parents of a Chicago college student killed by an illegal alien face the accused killer in court. Jeff Manasso reports.
18-year-old Sheridan Gorman mattered. That from her parents who faced Venezuelan national Jose Medina in court Wednesday as he pled not guilty to her murder last month.
We're not interested in political spin. We are interested in only one thing, to make sure that this does not happen to another family.
Our daughter was beautiful. We're going to get justice now.
Medina was already a known criminal who was in the country illegally when police say he ambushed a group of students along Lake Michigan, shooting Gorman in the neck, killing her. He remains held without bond.
The gunman in Saturday's attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is in court today for a hearing on whether he should remain behind bars as he awaits trial. This comes as federal law enforcement sources provide an update on the Secret Service officer who was shot at the event, telling Fox News the officer was hit by gunfire from the suspect, Cole Allen, and not hit by friendly fire. U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Janine Pirro, says there's no question that the suspect was intending to kill.
This defendant was calculated, he was premeditated, he had every intention of killing the president and anyone who got in his way.
The House of Representatives voted Wednesday to adopt a budget resolution that would allow Republicans to fund ICE and CBP without Democratic support. Florida Republican Representative Byron Donalds says he's confident the Department of Homeland Security will be funded soon.
It's unfortunate where the Democrats have gone. They're in the loony bin. Their Trump derangement syndrome has gone off the ledge. But we're going to do what's necessary to make sure we protect America and the American people.
The United Arab Emirates is leaving OPEC tomorrow. Chris Woodward has a reaction.
Larry Behrens of Power the Future called it a fantastic announcement.
But I think it shows that the cartel that is OPEC, and yes, that's the right word for it, a cartel that has been running energy for decades around the world, is now starting to lose its grip on that prospect in this industry. And the reason they're losing their grip on the industry is because American energy production is through the roof, American exports is through the roof, and so they're starting to realize that if they stay in this cartel-type mindset, they are going to lose. And it's only going to be a win for consumers, and it's definitely a win for the free market.
The UAE's exit from OPEC comes at a time when the national average for a gallon of regular gasoline is $1 more than it was at this time last year. We asked Behrens how soon this might impact prices at the pump.
This is going to be something that we're probably talking about a year from now, 2 years from now. When the UAE takes their millions of barrels a day and puts them on the free market instead of being restricted by OPEC, that's going to be more supply for us, and that will have a long-term help on prices. But for immediate help, it's not going to have a huge impact because they're still trying to work through the Strait of Hormuz right now.
I'm Chris Woodward.
Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins claims a loophole is allowing even wealthy Americans to receive SNAP benefits.
The Department of Agriculture tells us in one red state alone, SNAP participants own more than 14,000 luxury cars That includes 3 Ferraris, 11 Lamborghinis, 59 Maseratis, 141 Porsches, and more than 2,000 Teslas. So how does this happen? Secretary Brooke Rollins says there's an exemption called broad-based categorical eligibility that allows people to receive benefits without state officials reviewing their physical or monetary assets. Right now, 46 states have the program. Rollins believes they are very close to fixing the loophole.
And finally, Republicans are proposing changes to Social Security to allow those receiving benefits to continue working without incurring a penalty. Lauren Simonetti explains.
It's called the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act. It gives retirees a way to earn more money to pay their mortgages, taxes, other life expenses, because under the current law, Social Security reduces benefits for those who claim them before the age of 67 and reduces benefits further for those who earn more than $24,480 a year. The reduction is then returned to seniors at 67, but many retirees choose to earn little to get their full benefits. Sponsors of this new bill say it keeps seniors in the workforce longer without punishment or confusion.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
If we lose this cultural war, we're going to have a hedonistic, humanistic society.
Discover the story of the culture warrior Don Wildmon and how he went head-to-head with Hollywood, Playboy, the homosexual agenda, and the Disney Empire. The movement Don started paved the way for Christians to boldly stand for truth and righteousness in a hostile culture. Watch Culture Warrior today for free. Visit culturewarrior.movie.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back to the last 25 minutes of today's issues here on the American Family Radio Network on this Thursday. Fred, is this the last day, April?
It is the very last. Tomorrow, May 1.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
Hey, Steve Paisley, Jordan. How you doing, brother?
I'm well, thank you.
Did we not, and raised in Kansas City, we're in Tupelo. So was there not a April 31 sometime in my life? Or has it always ended at 30?
April, June, and November.
Get your knuckles out.
There never was an April 31.
Never was.
Not that I'm aware of.
Wow. Must have been a dream. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so April 30th is the last day. Tomorrow's May 1.
May 1.
Yeah, my dad said that I could raid the refrigerator when I was a teenager. I could raid the refrigerator and have all the ice cream I want on May 31st. He didn't, but
on April 31st.
On April 31st, yes.
Yes, because I think there is a May.
There is May 31. Yeah.
There is a May 31st. All right, Steve, how you doing?
Hi. I'm well, thank you. I need to start with a correction. I love my brother in the Lord and fellow reporter Chris Woodward, but he is incorrect on the group of cats. A group of cats is called a clowder. C-L-O-W-D-E-R.
What?
Like clown?
A clowder.
A clown?
C-L what?
C-L-O-W-D-E-R.
Clowder.
Look it up.
Oh, not chowder.
No.
Clown.
Clowder.
Well, what happened to that meow hand?
I don't know where he got that. It's probably.
Well, let me tell you how this works, Ray.
And Tim, what were you really doing with those cats?
I don't know. I'm not going. I plead the Fifth Amendment at this point.
I have no idea.
I'm not going to self-incriminate. So the group of Chris, like all of us, most of us, if we have a question we don't know the answer to, our thumbs immediately go to Google.
Right.
And the first thing that pops up, we believe it.
That's right, because the internet is never
by
wrong.
golly, we believe it. So that's the answer we give is whatever pops up. And I think what popped up was
Meowton or something. He's what they
Meowton.
did.
But you're saying upon further investigation, a group of cats are called
a clowder of cats.
Yeah.
And it's actually
It sounds like a word.
It is. You can look it up for me, Ray. See if I'm right. I knew the answer to this one,
I
too,
think
by the
that
way.
comes
I did not
from
have
the
to look it
Greek
up.
word annoyance.
It might. What are you finding there, Ray?
Anyway, Ray, you're not a cat. Are you a cat person?
No. Oh,
Okay.
no.
You're a dog.
Decisively no.
Yeah.
Fred, what's I know what other I'm friends with people who are cat lovers, but what is it about cats that you find appealing?
They sleep all day.
Okay, they sleep all day.
They sleep a lot. They're really easy to take care of. They kind of take care of themselves. Versus, Ray, you were talking off the top of the program today. Got to take the dog for a walk.
Right.
2 or 3 times a day.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
yes.
the cat, you would have to drag them at the end of a leash. They're just very independent. And it's in the wintertime, you're sitting in your easy chair at home.
They cuddle good.
Yeah,
huh?
they like to come up and
have you pet them.
Yeah, they do.
I had a pastor who did a sermon illustration one time on the difference between cats and dogs.
All right, what did he say?
So a dog will look at you and say, "You feed me, you take care of all my needs.
Right.
I'm
here for you.
You're always, you must be God." A cat says, "You feed me, you take care of all my needs. You're always there for me. I must be God."
Yes.
That's good. That's a good one.
Pretty good, actually.
That's a good one. Back to what you were saying earlier last hour, you told that funny story about your dog,
Right.
Sadie, not looking back, and when you take her out for a walk, and you said when she sees other dogs.
Oh, yeah, she's a little
or anything.
Yeah.
So
He's
I mentioned we have a little Maltese who's like 12 pounds. It's 13 years old, but real healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to know why a dog that small thinks it's a good idea to bark his ever-loving head off at a dog that's 3 times his size from a distance.
From a distance, yes.
I just don't know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he think he can take him? Or he's trying to scare him off from his yard? Or what is...
He's being tough from a distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us humans.
Yeah. Tough from a distance.
Tough from a distance. Okay. Well, I didn't...
Yeah.
Now, also, he will bark. He can see... we have wrought iron fence around our patio, so he can't escape at night.
Okay.
But we live backed up to the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and he will come off the lounge chair. It can be very peaceful.
Uh-huh.
We're just enjoying whatever, a TV show or whatever, and or talking, my Allison, and all of a sudden, like a lightning bolt, he will spring into action,
Mm-hmm.
barking loud as a Maltese can bark, and he's barking into the darkness.
Yeah.
Out there, and he's evidently seeing squirrels move around,
Possum or something
that's coming to his territory.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he wants that. Yep. He wants that animal, whatever it may. A deer.
Yeah.
We've had deer come up.
Sure.
And he will bark his head off at. So I guess it's a protective thing.
He's doing his job.
Doesn't matter if he's if I open the gate and say go get him. I wonder if he would think twice about, I can bark behind the fence.
That's right. I didn't sign up for the other
stuff. I don't know if I can take on that coyote over there or not. I think I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
All right. So you're listening to today's issue. Go ahead, Steve.
So today, Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is in this Capitol Hill. He's giving testimony to the Senate Armed Forces Committee.
By the way, they really did change the name of that.
They did.
It's always been known as the Secretary of Defense, a cabinet position. They oversee the Pentagon and the military.
And the Department of Defense, right.
And so when President Trump came in this time, he changed it to
Department of War,
which it was formerly known as back in the World War II, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, so our Secretary of War is with the Senate today. Yesterday, he was with the House Armed Services Committee. So this is a guy that you might want to do your homework if you're going to come up against in Senate testimony. This is an exchange between Pete Hegseth and California Congressman.
Is it an exchange or is it a one-way?
John Garamendi. It's a one-way.
Okay.
John Garamendi. Anyway, John Garamendi has called what we're in. He called it a
quagmire.
Quagmire, right? And that didn't set well with Mr. Hegseth because it discourages the troops. Anyway, this is the exchange, cut 3.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that could create strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation. Who are you cheering for here? Who are you pulling for? Our troops are doing incredible work. They've done incredible things for the entirety of this mission and achieved incredible battlefield successes. And you sit there and go on TV for your clickbait about quagmires. It undermines the mission. Your hatred for President Trump blinds you to the truth of the success of this mission and the historic stakes that the president is addressing, which the American people support.
Now, what kind of takeout do you want for lunch?
Yeah.
Wow. We didn't hear what the congressman said there.
He had, actually, he had been making a statement, and I cut off for time, but Hegseth started this rant by saying, you didn't have a question at the end of your statement, but I'd like to respond anyway. And during that statement, he called the troops, that we were in a quagmire.
Let me ask you this question, and I asked this, I asked this genuinely. And I didn't hear the context of I heard Pete Hegseth, who I like, right there. I mean, and I tell you what, he's a former Fox News television host. He is quick on his feet, and he is smart. You better be ready if you're going to get into a discussion or a debate with him. However, can you question strategy? Can you question how it's going overall without impugning the integrity of the troops? That seems to me. Yeah, does that make sense to you, Fred?
Yeah, absolutely. Our soldiers are doing their job.
Yeah.
And they
soldiers
need to
and sailors.
They're doing their job. Our aviators, all of them. They're doing a great job. I think what Congressman Garamendi, what he was saying is that several months back, we on a mission, the United States on a mission, went in to destroy.
Last summer?
The weapons of mass destruction. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that when we supposedly wiped them out.
Yeah, I forget what the name of the mission was.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. And so he said, you told us.
Right.
The congressman is saying to Pete Hegseth.
Midnight Hammer.
Midnight Hammer, thank you.
That's what happened last June or whenever it was when
the mother of all bombs, the Moab dropped.
I remember
so
that. Yeah.
we bombed the mountain.
And then we said we've taken care of the problem.
We took care of the problem.
Right.
The congressman was making a point that now we're being told we need to stay there. We need guarantees that Iran won't develop this nuclear weapon. So I'm.
Is that a fair question?
I'm just quoting the congressman here. Several months ago, you told us we took them out. We took that mountain out that had contained all of these weapons. Now you're saying we need guarantees that they will not develop a nuclear weapon. How is it? A few months ago, we took it all out, took care of it. Now you're saying we still need to take care of it. So he was challenging our Secretary of War on, you said this then, but you're still saying we need to do something about their nuclear capabilities.
Also, the word quagmire, Ray, triggered
Yes.
Pete Hegseth, the congressman called him, the situation we're in a quagmire.
Well, his point was it's a little early to call this a quagmire.
Right. Right.
He's right about that. It feels to me, I wouldn't use the word quagmire. It feels more like a stalemate. Feels like we're stuck.
Right.
Between, on one hand, the gas prices rising over here and oil rising around the world and the blockade of Iran. To me, it's almost like we're stuck here in a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? Will the gas price pressure, and we talked about this earlier leading up to the midterms, will that cause Mr. Trump to find a quick exit? Or is it going to work to blockade Iran long enough till they come to the negotiating table? We are stuck. I will say this. It seems unlikely to me, and I have zero inside information, but we were told that the military leaders gave President Trump an option for further bombing in a concentrated manner that would force Iran to the bargaining table, and the president said, "No, let's let's give the blockade time to work. Feels like that's the right answer. I don't think Americans want to see the bombing resume. What they want to see is this war somehow come to an end and do what we got to do with Iran and then bring oil prices down all over the world.
Yeah.
I think you think it's going to end pretty soon, don't you?
Well, I think in answer to your question, absolutely, you can be critical of the decisions, the political decision to go in and do the war, and not be critical of the troops and support the troops. You can do both.
I don't think Pete Hegseth believes that, though.
Well,
he said you're staining.
Pete Hegseth's job is to represent the president. He does it with much vigor. I think he really believes. And I do believe that 2 months is probably too early to use the quagmire word, I think. Mr. Trump is nothing. He's got outstanding political instincts for most things. And I think he will find a way to get out of this before it carries over into the midterms. I just think as a political decision, he knows that it would be disastrous for us to still be involved in this come November when people are voting. So he will find a way, and he'll call it a victory, and, it will be or won't be. Everybody will be able to decide whether it will be, whether it won't be. But I think he's waiting. He's doing the dotting the I's, crossing the T's to give diplomacy every bit of a chance before he has to go in and do the more bombing or whatever it is to get out.
Okay. Well, the one thing I think is really up in the air, which I don't even know how I'm talking here. I don't know any more than you guys know. But I'm just going to speak. I'm going to share my heart. That's what I said. That's what
Here we go.
That's what we do, Ray.
Right.
I mock that because I've heard Christians say that my whole life. I'm going to share my heart. I'm going to share my heart. Can I share my heart?
The rest of us go, oh, no.
I know. I always know when I've seen that happen, people come up, can I share my heart? That means, can I say something that you won't analyze? Or
You're not going to like it.
I'm going to share my heart means I'm about to say something, and if you challenge it, you're challenging my heart. So I always get suspicious when somebody says, "Can I share my heart?" And it usually ends like that. I don't think you can get to Iran's nuclear plans, the uranium enrichment. Short of sending the Marines in and going down those holes and finding the boxes that say enriched uranium on, I'm being a little funny there, but I don't mean it's not a funny matter. I don't think you can get to them, okay? We were told last summer we got to them through these bombs, as you referenced earlier, Fred. That was not true. It was not true that the job was finished, we were led to believe by President Trump and others at the time. Now, I will say this. Maybe that's what they thought at the time. So I'm not saying that President Trump intentionally misled people. I'm just saying he acted like it was done and over, and as it turns out, it wasn't. So you don't really know what to believe on that front. However, I will say that if your goal is we're going to stay until we go down that every bunker in Iran and find out where the enriched uranium is and take it away, that's not going to happen.
Nope.
So that's an unattainable, unachievable goal.
Unless you send troops in.
Unless you send troops in, and that's not going to happen, I don't think.
No.
Because that would be a mess.
That would be a quagmire.
So I don't think that's going to happen. So I think President Trump is at a crossroads here. When I mentioned earlier about doesn't know exactly what the right thing to do at this time is, and that's not a criticism. That's just the place we find ourselves in. How long are you going to wait? If Iran is not going to agree to what you say, and they haven't yet, and I don't think they're going to, but some people might. Even if they say, okay, we're not going to build a nuclear weapon, well, then you're going to say, well, how are we going to verify that?
That's right.
Well, you're not going to be able to verify it because you don't run our country. So I don't think there's anywhere to go with this. I think if I were President Trump, I'd just come home and say, if you mess with us again, we'll be back and it'll be worse for you. That's all I'd say. I'd say, but I guess he hopes that this blockade will choke out and smoke out the Iranian leadership, and I don't think it's going to happen myself. Go ahead.
No, I think the way out of this right now is to say, yes, we've destroyed their Navy. Yes, we've destroyed their Air Force and done great damage to them. We do not believe that they can develop a nuclear weapon for another 10, 15 years, but we're going to keep a close eye on them. But we're going to go home.
Right, that's what I would say. What's the shame in that? I mean, I would just say that's honorable.
We'll work with Israel.
And we're going to stay. We're going to keep our bases over here. We're going to watch you. We're going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to come back or take care of some more business, we will.
Yep.
I would do the Robert De Niro, two fingers pointed toward my eyes. We're watching you.
We're watching.
And I don't think Israel hasn't done anything either recently, have they?
Well, they're in a truce of ceasefire. Pardon me, a ceasefire with Lebanon right now. And so far, Hezbollah has behaved itself in this.
But I'm talking about Iran. I'm talking about Israel
and Iran
sending jets to bomb Iran.
No.
That hadn't happened.
No, it hasn't.
That seems to be over.
It's quiet on that front.
All right.
Yeah.
And by the way, the question you asked about can you support
I shared my heart?
Can you support the troops and still be critical of the policy? That's the same question a lot of people are saying and asking about Israel. Can you support Israel and still be critical of the policies that the government does?
I think
whatever
you can. I think you can.
That's the question that's been being asked. So the Democrats, Pete Hegseth is accusing the Democrats of having TDS. Is basically what he's saying, and they met.
Well, that's a news shocker.
I know. Well, they met in the conference met, and the
breaking news: Democrats have TDS. Go ahead.
The Democrats met, House Democrats met, and they decided that they're going to embrace the TDS thing, and they have a new. They put their feelings to music, and I want to play with you for you some of what came out of this this meeting of Democrats.
Well, we want to hear it.
This is cut 13.
TDS. Democrats have TDS. You can't catch it from kissing, no, it's all inside your head. What is more, there's no cure, makes you dumb and immature. Watch the fake news, it's atrocious. See their hatred so ferocious. They can scream, they can shout, some will threaten to move out and expatriate like Ellen DeGeneres. Although it may confound you, yes, it's all around. TDS.
Who did that? Who do we credit that to?
That is, I don't even know who to credit that to. It's one of the memes that came up on my feed. My
okay,
feed.
TDS.
Okay, that's very clever.
Yeah,
yes.
Take off from the Beauty and the Beast, the Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
It's probably AI.
Yeah, what? No. Yeah, that definitely is AI. I don't think they really actually did do that.
No.
So there's a House of Representatives in Minnesota is introducing a bill that would penalize cities and counties that do not fly the new flag. A lot of people in Minnesota want to go back to the old flag. Minnesota introduced a new flag, which is a white star and a blue background, a six-pointed star and a blue background. A lot of people are saying it has a striking resemblance to the Somali flag, and so they won't fly it. But the Minnesota House of Representatives is introducing a bill that would penalize cities and counties for not flying it. It would go into effect in 2027 if it's passed and signed. It would penalize any city that flies or otherwise makes use of a state flag other than the design that was passed and accepted.
Wow, well, I'm going to be paying attention to that story, Steve.
Well,
that's. Will you bring us an update tomorrow?
I will. I will follow this like nothing else. Best story ever. No one's ever seen a story like it.
Okay, they're going nuts in Minnesota. We know this. Right? Just one.
Oh man,
yes.
You know, Minnesota back in the '70s, I think it was. There was a Time magazine story about how this was the best state to move to and live in, that life was so good in Minnesota, the quality of life for families and everything. And it's a beautiful state naturally. Of course, you better get ready for
Have a
better be
winter
wetter for
coat.
you. Better be wetter, ready for wintertime. You know, August through June. No, I'm just teasing. It's not that bad. But I'm just saying that how things have changed. When Obama recruited all the Somalis to come over here too, that changed the dynamics in
Bigly.
Minneapolis in particular.
Minneapolis. You get outside the Twin Cities. That's where normal people live.
That's right.
In Minnesota. By the way, I've been to that. I've been boat riding on that St. Croix River up there between Minnesota and Wisconsin in the fall. Just gorgeous scenery.
Yes, it is.
Up there. All right, Ray, thank you.
You bet.
My thanks to Fred and Steve and Chris and Frank. Frank Turek joined us. Brent Creeley, our producer. Cole Green, our video man. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Trivia Friday tomorrow. Well, we've only got 2 tours for 2026 that are not full. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American